Hey, we're Joseph and Kalyn, and we've been traveling full-time for the past 5 years. But it's not just the two of us. We have a rabbit named Cody and a rescue pup, Trinity. We're avid hikers, love boondocking in remote locations, and work as online content creators in both the travel and productivity niche. Today we're giving you a tour of our almost 20-year-old fifth wheel, which we renovated in almost every way. We'll also give you an idea of how well things are holding up and, of course, how much we've spent. Welcome to our home.
Before we jump inside, a couple quick specs to get us started off. This is a 2005 Jayco Designer Legacy. Obviously, we bought it used. We haven't owned it since 2005. It is 33 feet, even though it says it's a 31 RLS, and the 31 I think is supposed to be the length. We measured it from tip to tail, and it's 33 feet.
So, all the numbers adding up?
It comes with 2 storage bays. We've got the basement right here. Yep, that's enough of that. And then this is actually used to be a battery compartment. I have a few tools in there now, and we call this our garage. We don't park the car there, but we might put a few tools and stuff to wash the RV with.
How we came across this RV is actually an interesting story, and I'm gonna try to make it quick. We were living in Florida for about 5-6 years. We actually had a house there that we needed to sell. And when we decided to do RV life, we of course did what everyone does and go to dealerships to dream about what our perfect RV would look like. Well, nothing was in our budget. Then a few weeks later, my mom called and she said, hey, my friend's actually looking to get rid of her RV. I think it would be perfect for you. Well, I didn't have high expectations, but I also didn't want to disappoint my mom. So I'm like, all right, we'll go up and look at it when we're up there for the holidays. And we did, and it checked off every single box that we had. And they only wanted $12,000 for it. They just wanted a couple to take it on the road and get a lot of use out of it. And we were like, hey, that is us. So we drove up to New York. We got the RV. Well, our house had to sell first. That was a process. But once it did, we grabbed the RV, sold most of our belongings, and then drove it all the way back down to Florida to stay at Joseph's brother's house to be able to start working on all the upgrades and renovations that we wanted to do.
But we actually didn't quite make it to Florida because we stopped in Virginia to pick up this bad boy.
This is my favorite thing ever, and you have to have it installed by a professional.
You do. That's some weird, it's a Truma AquaGo Comfort endless hot water heater.
On demand.
And when we are boondocking, it saves us energy, and when we have full hookups, we have endless hot water. It's amazing.
It's so nice. Since we're over on this side of the RV,
I knew that was gonna happen.
I forgot that this is where our propane is with our broken door. We have a 20-year-old RV falling apart.
I want to see you put it back together.
This just has to be fixed. Hang on. All right, we're not doing that. Propane's over there. This storage bay, how bad does it look? It's not terrible, but this is where all like the levers for all the black and holding gray tanks, all the stuff comes out, you know, the stuff.
Water and sewage.
But we actually are combining this RV tour with a Q&A, and so we have our first question, which is, what do we do with wastewater when we're out here boondocking like we are right now?
There's actually 2 answers to that. So our gray water, if we are in an area that allows us to dump gray water out, we will hook up our macerator, send a hose away from the RV, somewhere away from where people will camp, and we'll dump the gray water there. Otherwise, the black tank and the gray tank, if we're not allowed to dump it, we will pump it into an external tank in the truck and drive it to the nearest dump station. That allows us to stay here longer without having to haul the RV to a dump station. We actually have all of the information on how we do that in a video. It's going to be in the bottom right or left-hand corner. Just find that thumbnail and you'll get more details on it.
Then we made it to Florida and we ordered our entire solar system. We knew that this was one of the other upgrades that we wanted to do for sure so that we could do more boondocking. It's a very minimal setup, but it works amazing for us. We've had it for the last 5 years and it's been great.
As Kalyn said, it's a pretty minimal setup. We only have 640 watts of solar, and we've got 300 amp hours of battery down in that storage bay. If you want more information on our solar setup, literally the same video as we have for the wastewater, just find that thumbnail, click on it, and you'll have all the information you could ever need, except how to install it, because I'm not an expert.
But you did pretty good on it. I don't think you made mistakes.
RV hasn't burned down yet.
Here are our bikes that are gonna probably fall apart because we haven't ridden them in a
haven't.
while.
I don't think we've ridden them since Mackinac.
This is also our second bike rack because our first one just sort of went. But the most important piece, our logo, or actually it's not really a logo, it's just our handle. So make sure you subscribe to YouTube, takes 2 seconds, and follow us on Instagram. It probably takes maybe 3 seconds.
Meanwhile, if you're following behind us on the road, there's the logo.
That's why we need to put it on the front, and everyone in the comments has voted that we need one for the front, so we'll have to do that eventually.
The last major upgrade we've done to the RV exterior, actually we just finished a while ago, and that is these decals. The vinyl decals that were on the RV were in rough shape when we got it and got in rougher and rougher shape over the past 5 years. I did not have high hopes at all for this project when Kalyn was like, let's peel the old decals off and spray paint on new ones. I thought it was going to be a disaster. But so far, we have had these now, let's see, am I on the side? Yeah, the side we've had them for like a month or 2 now, and they seem to be holding up really well. We're putting UV protectant on the outside of the RV to help keep them from fading. At least for now, the RV looks a million times better than it did before. So I'm really sorry for not believing you.
Thank you. I feel validated now. All right, now we get to move into the inside.
Hang on, I actually forgot an upgrade we did, and that is the Onias lock right here.
That was like a few months ago.
Yeah,
very recent.
We had wafer locks, which a lot of people ask us, like, is boondocking safe? Well, we boondocked for 4 years
we're
with
still
like
alive.
with like the most unsafe lock ever, and that's not a pitch for Onias. That's just because wafer locks are by default probably some of the easiest to break into. So now we have this Onias lock that has a keypad and not a wafer lock for the backup, so we're pretty happy with it.
Very nice. The inside of the RV looks completely different though. When we first bought it, everything was just so dark. Dark cabinetry, dark table, dark couch, and I knew that we really wanted to lighten it up, especially because it was a smaller space.
The first thing we did to brighten up the inside was give everything a fresh coat of paint, and one of Kalyn's grandmothers was appalled when we suggested that we were going to paint the cabinets, but we did. They turned out beautiful. We painted everything in Florida. It was amazing. And then we went out west where the weather got dry and all these cracks started appearing. So if you thought this was going to be a tour of how everything is perfect and we're just the most amazing, what is it, fix or flop or flip or flap or whatever those HGTV shows are, it's not, because we're going to show you the warts and all. So if you have any tips, we've repainted these cabinets twice. I'm beginning to think we need to paint them out west as opposed to painting them in Florida. It could be a humidity thing, but yes, when you stand back here, it looks great.
Also, it's fixer-upper and flipper-flop. FYI.
Speaking of fixer-upper, you gotta put shiplap everywhere. This kind of tells you, I'm afraid the dog's gonna flip that
What
over.
are you doing? What are you, get off the bench. This video is not about you. You are the star of many videos, but this is about the RV. Can you get, there you go. There you go. All right, as you were saying.
You can tell when we did these renovations, it was right in the craze of the Jim and Joanna Gaines.
No, Chip.
Chip and Joanna Gaines. We had no demo day, but we did do shiplap everywhere. So this is actually fake shiplap. It is just like I think it's eighth inch plywood that we just stuck pennies between and glued it all up and then painted it white. It has held up great. I haven't had to re-glue anything. It brightened up the space a lot.
One of the questions we get asked often is, where did we buy our roller shades? And we actually made these with the help of Joseph's mom and my aunt. So we bought the cheap mechanisms, the cheap roller shade mechanisms at Lowe's. You know how they have that like plastic vinyl over it. Took the vinyl off, bought fabric, put 2 pieces of fabric together to make it a little bit stronger. And my mom sewed like little lines across to kind of look like shades. And then we put wooden dowels inside here, and they just roll up pretty nicely. I will say they are showing their age a little bit, but it was so much cheaper to outfit 12 windows doing it this way than buying the roller shades that I really liked the look of that these sort of mimic. Trinity, you got dirt on the couch. This is why we normally have it covered, but for the sake of the RV tour and when company comes over, we don't want to have like a slip cover on it. But this couch we bought, I think from like Haystack or Hay Needle, one of those. It's like comes, because you can't really fit a couch in through the door, so we had to put it together. But the couch that was here was kind of an ugly floral thing. It was huge, it was a pull-out couch, and it also weighed like a ton of bricks. So we were really excited to get that weight out of there and replace it with something a little bit lighter.
And the table we also replaced. This is actually from IKEA. It's 5 years old. It has gotten pretty banged up. We're thinking of replacing it again soon, but similar situation. The table that was here, super heavy. The chairs that were with it, super heavy. I will say the chairs that came with it had like storage space underneath, but we just thought that didn't look like residential. It made you feel like you were living in an RV.
It was also a round table too, and it was larger than that.
And one of our goals with all of our renovations has been we want it to feel like a house, not like an RV. And if every nook and cranny has like secret storage compartments, that's one of those things where you start to feel like you're living in an RV if it's all visible.
I did go in aqua blue, so because we lived in Florida, I really wanted to bring in like the light sea breeze, ocean kind of vibe here. But these were actually mirrors on here that we spray painted with this like frosty type spray paint. And then we just have extra storage here. I find these baskets, I think they're from Target, just work really well to keep things nice and organized. And then we also replaced these light fixtures. We wanted to replace the ones that were here because we thought they were kind of ugly. And we were just kind of waiting to find the right ones. And then they kind of made the decision for us because they fell out of the top here. We came in back around, I think it was like at the north rim of the Grand Canyon, and there were wires hanging and the fixtures were on the floor. So we found these at Lowe's on clearance and I absolutely love them. I think they really fit with the aesthetic of the RV. Oh, and we did have someone ask, how do we get a book out of our little bookshelf? Well, you have to kind of take the little ones out first. And you can see here, it's still tough. See, that's where it's connected. And then you can start to remove them, but.
How many book people just died inside a little bit when you like manhandled that book out of the shelf?
How many book people are upset that I actually donated, I think 7 big boxes of books to Goodwill before we went to RV life?
Why would you do such a thing?
This is what we get when she's not part of the video.
She's like, you were ignoring me. Well, I guess we can shift into pet mode because what was back here when we first bought the RV were 2 recliners and we needed to replace them with 2 things. One, my desk, so I needed a place to work, and then a bunny pet area. So this is where Cody stays, got his little hidey hut, his litter box. We also modified this, or I say Joseph modified this because it was a 3x3 pen that we had. And when we got the desk, so this isn't the one we started out with, this was a 3rd desk down the line because
we've gone through 3 desks because when we travel, the back side of the RV hops up and down a little bit, which has sent a couple desks airborne
and broken.
And they haven't survived the sudden stop at the bottom. But anyway.
So with this new desk and with the shoe rack that we made last fall, winter, no, 2 falls and winters ago, we needed to modify this. So this is not connected to anything, but when we want to close Cody in, we can just close this little door and put the stick through it. And now we have a separated area between Cody and Trinity. But Cody went running, so he's not actually in there anymore.
So speaking of Cody, we had somebody ask how we ended up with Cody. We got a rabbit shortly after we got married. We had her name was Twix, for 8 years. And shortly after she died, we really missed the sound of rabbit paws hopping through the house. So we went to the Tampa Humane Society and picked up Rose, who we renamed to Chloe. And then we went to get her spayed. And they're like, actually, no, we found this out at home. We found this out at home. Kalyn was not happy when suddenly we realized this.
I wanted a girl bunny.
So we renamed Chloe to Cody. Poor guy had an identity crisis right off the bat. But yeah, so we got him and he's 9 years old now. He's battling some tumor growth that he's got in his cheek, but seems to be doing okay so far. And he had a buddy named Cinder. We actually worked with a rabbit rescue for a while, and we rescued a rabbit and named her Cinder, and they were paired together for about 7 years, but she passed away this past summer.
And then, of course, you already know the Trinity story if you've been around for a while. Trinity came into our lives about 4 months ago at a gate guarding job.
She literally shoved me out of this chair so she could have it.
And now we can't envision our family without her.
It's very interesting because we've been rabbit people ever since we've been married. Like house rabbits, let them have run of the house. Never saw ourselves owning a dog ever. And like we said, we're complete Trinity people.
Yeah, Joseph says he's not a dog person. Yeah, he's a Trinity
I'm a Trinity person. I don't know if anybody can replace Trinity or not. But while we're on the subject of pets and the subject of RV renovations, these cabinets, notice here's more crap.
I know, that's the worst
That's the worst one. One of the things I like about the older RVs is they seem to be stocky and built really well. So we store some heavier things in these upper cabinets, and we've never had an issue. So we've got Cody's litter box and hay supplies over here. We've got Trinity's food, Cody's
their
food, medication,
medications.
and all of that. And then over here, Kalyn has some more of her office supplies as well. And they've worked really great. These storage compartments have worked fantastic. Like I said, we've never had any issue with them like being afraid that they would come off the wall.
One of the things on our we have to have list was a fireplace, just because I love the vibe of it. But the problem is we go boondocking so much and it takes way too much battery power that we can only run it when we're in actual campgrounds. So that's kind of sad, but I still love that it's here. This whole cabinet situation, we actually, I think there was a shelf in here, wasn't there, that we took out?
I believe so.
I think so, yeah. I think there was a shelf so that we could fit these 2 bins to have like our air fryers in here, some extra paper products and supplies. And then a big honkin' TV was here, and we had another question about like, do we have a TV? Do we want a TV? What do we do for streaming? So we took the TV out. We just don't find that we really miss it. We watch on our laptops, on iPad, and we do Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, whatever one has what we want to watch, and it works fine for us. Now, we are one of the few RVers that travels with a printer, which maybe you would think is a little strange, but I actually run a printable planning membership site. I don't do as much now as I did then, but when I was making weekly designs, we had to test them on the printer. So that's why we're carrying a printer in the RV.
I thought we were showing warts and all.
Before we get to the kitchen, there's a little bit of our morning smoothie that got on here. There, now you can look at it.
So for the kitchen area, we have 2 upgrade success stories and 1 repair fail story. So the upgrade success stories first. This kitchen countertop used to be a, pinkish yellow,
it was beige.
Beige plastic countertop. And we're like, we really like to replace it. We don't want something too heavy, but we want it to look pretty. So instead of replacing it, we actually used Rust-Oleum tub and tile epoxy, and we coated it like 3 times. After, I think it was 4 years. After 4 years, I actually did it again because some of it started to wear off, but it has held up really well. And along with this upgrade, we also replaced the faucet with something, again, that looks more like a home and less like an RV. The second, come over here, come on.
I'm coming.
The second, this is the one I'm the most excited about. Until Kalyn reminded me today how much it costs to do this, but the second upgrade success is we had this pantry that's super deep. It goes all the way back here, but it had shelves, and so if you wanted to get back to something, you had to just stick your arm way back there and pull it out. So I designed and built these shelves, which even have the cool little soft close. And so we can literally access anything that's even all the way in the back of our pantry. This right here cost us $500 between the parts, but mostly for the drawer hardware. Now onto the repair fail. I think I've done this twice, and that is the top of this stove.
This is so bad.
Yeah, it was black and it was good, but it started getting scraped up a bit, so I took it out. I stripped all the paint off it, and we painted it with Rust-Oleum paint and, cleaned everything up, brought it in. Every time we wipe it down with a wet cloth, black comes off. and it's just continuing to chip. So I have an idea of what I'm going to do to try to fix it again. But as you know, with me, that's probably 6 months from now that I'll actually get it done.
He did forget one other upgrade that is probably my favorite one in the kitchen, the backsplash. This is peel and stick tiles, but like tiles in quotes, from Bed Bath & Beyond, which filed for bankruptcy, so it's not even available anymore. And it was a pain, a huge royal pain to get on, but I think it looks pretty good, and it stayed on for like 5 years. I do not have any places where it's peeling up or anything, so that was a huge win, and much cheaper and much lighter than regular tile backsplash.
These cuts have to be precise because there's no fixing it, and she made them precise.
Aw, thank you. It did take me a while to try to figure out how I wanted to organize these cabinets, just because when you're in an RV moving down the road, everything kind of flies around. So that's why we really invested in like bins for our medicines, our cups, our spices, baskets for some cups up there, paper products. So I feel like the moral of the story when trying to organize stuff in an RV, especially in cabinets, is bins and baskets are your friend. This one is all our extra food storage currently that we just stuff up there. Pans, drawers have our plates in it, napkins, silverware, soft linen, good towel things. I almost forgot these cabinet poles are new as well, and it took me a while to find them because I just didn't want a too yellowish tinge to the gold, even though I know I wanted gold poles. So I found these online, spent a little bit more than I think I probably wanted to, but I'm really happy with how they've lasted, and I think they look really nice. Now moving on to the upstairs, and everyone makes fun of us when we say that, but there are literally like 1, 2, 3 steps to get up here. So this is our upstairs.
First, let's tell the story of the king size mattress. We bought the RV, and one of the things that was on our checklist along with the fireplace is that it had a king size bed, because we had a king size mattress that we really wanted to keep.
And we did not want to downgrade.
It was comfortable, so we bought the RV. We threw out the mattress that was in the RV and put it on the curb, and it got carried away. And then later on that day or that week, we put our mattress in, and that is the moment we discovered that an RV king size mattress is a different size than an actual king size mattress. So this is our mattress. It barely fits into this spot.
There are like no, you can't even like stick your fingers really down here because we had to turn it to make sure that it fit in between here.
Yeah, there's cubby holes back there that you're supposed to be able to access with your arm down.
Nope.
And you can't. And the end of the mattress, the end of the RV king size mattress is hang on, hold this.
It hangs over a lot.
This is where the end of the other mattress was. Ours hangs over by, 3 inches or so.
Yeah.
So yeah. Whoops.
It's also, we have a shower in our bedroom, the shower and vanity, which is kind of a little awkward, but when you have a 33-foot fifth wheel, like you're gonna sacrifice on space.
And I am going to sound a little bit like a broken record here, but the RV did come with like a pole shade that was here that would separate the bedroom area off from the shower to the bathroom. But once again, what does that make it feel like? It makes it feel like an RV, not a home.
And there's only 2 of us in here anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Right.
We do have quite a bit of space here, I would think. So like we each have one side of the closet, so our clothes, some things up here, and stuff some more things back there. It's just like when space is limited in an RV, you just try to find all the places that you can put things. But I am pretty happy with like the drawer space that we have. And then this is actually we call it our donation bin, because when you're bringing stuff, buying things into an RV and you don't have a lot of space, we want to always be in constant like decluttering mode and what can we get rid of. So if we come across something that we don't need anymore, we just put it in this bin, and when it's full, we take it to a thrift store to donate it.
And if you're not familiar with fifth wheel RVs and you're kind of getting a little disoriented with all the space that we're showing off here, we're actually standing in the nose of the RV. So if you were outside, we would be over top of the truck if we were hitched up right now. And the closet especially, that's where the kingpin is, that would go into the truck to tow it. So that's why the upstairs, that's why you go up a set of stairs, is because it's that section over the truck.
We really wanted a fifth wheel over a motorhome because it felt more like a home. It was separated from the front, like driver and passenger side, where you can just unhitch and come into your house and it feels like a literal home.
And travel trailers generally have less storage than a fifth wheel. So that's the other reason we went with a fifth wheel over a travel trailer, because there's generally, not all the way across the board, but there's generally more storage options that come with a fifth wheel. Yeah!
Ooh, so strong. There's a lot of extra stuff in here.
At the time of
as well.
filming, we're preparing for a big Alaska trip, so we do have more stuff than normal. But yeah, we have 4 full totes down here full of extra storage. And a little known secret is that when we got the RV, this was all the storage that existed down to this spot. And I took out the plywood to kind of look to see what was going on. And there's a motor for the slide right here in the center, but big empty spaces on the side. So I cut holes, added stronger plywood, and just set those totes into place. And the motor has never had any issue sliding everything back and forth. These totes actually sit about this far off the ground.
We did the same epoxy treatment on the bathroom counter, and then we also painted, of course, the vanity and the door underneath. Again, I feel like we've got so much storage space that sometimes I feel like we have a little bit too much space for what we actually use.
If you're in the market for an RV, if you already have an RV, you probably already know this, but there is a shower test that you need to do, because RVs are a little different, and that is the floor of the shower is always a step up. It's not down in the floor like it is in a typical house. So if you're gonna buy a RV, hot tip, stand in the shower and see where the shower head is, because there are a lot of RVs where you stand in the shower and the head's right here, which makes it a glorious opportunity to not wash your hair.
Where's our toilet? It's hidden.
There you go.
There it is. Our little teeny tiny bathroom. I don't know if there's much else to say about that.
Should we tell people what throws everybody off if you're a house person?
Yeah, if you haven't been in an RV.
You'll notice there's no tank here because you don't want water sloshing around.
Yep.
So to flush the toilet, it's a half press to fill the water up,
Yep.
and then a full press to dump it out.
And that is our home.
All 312 square feet of it.
It's really tiny, but I love all the upgrades that we did. I love the way we lightened it up. It has just been the perfect RV for us. Like we catch ourselves saying often, like, we really lucked out with this one.
So on so many levels. But if you've been around the channel at all, you know that we always like dish out on the expenses. We already told you we bought this RV for $12,000. How much money did we spend in the upgrades?
So this does not include the truck or the RV, but it includes all the furniture, all the paint, the fifth wheel install, the solar install. So it's about $16,000 and sorry, $16,700. It doesn't make it any better.
No. We spent more in upgrades than we spent
on the RV. But if you look at newer RVs or even used RVs that are upwards to like $40,000 to $50,000, we still spent less.
Correct. And I can't say it enough. We think we will probably buy another RV at some point in the future, but we are also very gun shy about it because this RV is very solid. Is it perfect? No. It's a 20-year-old RV, but we have abused it to death. Like, we have taken it up so many forest roads.
That we probably shouldn't have.
We've taken it over so many rocks and so many things.
Yeah.
It just seems to last, and people are like, you shouldn't put heavy stuff in your cabinets. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Our cabinets
They're
hold.
not falling off.
So
we're just really happy with how well this is made. And I know like the Jayco brand was acquired by Thor in 2016, and this was the 2005, and the quality just kind of went downhill from there. So I don't know if we'll end up buying an RV in the future.
I'm sure we'll be in the market in the future, but we are in that process going to be very gun shy because we have been spoiled by this rig. Somebody asked us a question related to this, and that is what upgrades / preventive maintenance and things like that are on the schedule for us to get done. And we've kind of hit on some of those as we have toured the RV. A couple of more things that I want to do on the truck. I don't know, when we're recording in the truck, if you ever hear a thump when we hit a bump, those are the cab mounts. They're completely shot on the truck. I'd also like to replace the rear shocks at some point. On the RV, I want to replace all the wheels, like the drums, the brakes. I'd really like to go through and service all of them and just replace them all, actually.
And something that I really want to do is replace these floors. We should have done it right off the bat, but we had already spent so much money upgrading everything, and we were so like anxious to get on the road that we said, hey, maybe we'll do it in a year or two. Well, it's been 5 years. I don't know if we'll ever get to do it.
What's the problem with 20-year-old carpet?
Oh, like,
it's gross.
I feel like we can't ever really get it clean. But other than that, our awnings broke, our slide toppers really need replacing. So there's always something.
Yeah, and we're not complaining.
No.
Every homeowner, every RV owner has this long list of projects of things that they want to get done.
Yeah.
And it's always just a shuffle, a priority list of what's most important that gets done and what do we have the money for and should we, So everybody understands how that works. That's just our list.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this RV tour. I hope it was interesting to be able to see everything that we've done to the RV. Let us know if you have any other questions about anything that we can answer in the comments below.
And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button.
I was just gonna say that. Great mind.
Stick around, check out some of our other videos. We think you'll enjoy them.